everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Kat, also known as Delilah Shines, and today I wanted to share an experience that I've recently had with you guys, and hopefully this will help if you can relate. So actually today the topic is on breakups. So as many of you may know, if you follow me on, Facebook, or if you have been watching my videos, I have been or I was in a relationship for the last 2 years. Okay, so about 2 years, give or take a little. We ended up having a child together. This person helped raise my other two children from my previous relationship. We ended up, sharing a house and a car and moving, several hours away from our home and our family. And basically, the reason why this relationship started in the first place was because obviously there was a connection. Obviously, there was love there, but mainly the reason why we stayed together was because shortly after we got together, we found out that we were pregnant. And so I feel like that put a lot of pressure on us to like stay together, even when there was like several times in the relationship where I felt like I wanted to leave and I didn't, out of fear of like raising my kids on my own or like being on my own, having to handle all of the financial responsibility on my own. And so, because of all of these fears and because of not allowing myself to do what I knew that I was supposed to do, I was suppressing myself a lot, okay? And I just barely uploaded a video about speaking your truth and not suppressing your emotions. But I was suppressing a lot, okay? So, I would suppress my emotions because I would know that I didn't want to be with this person. And if I tried to, or if I thought of or went to express that to this person, I would have to deal with the retaliation. I would have to deal with their reaction. And, being so isolated with a person who, is very emotionally unstable, that can be kind of frightening at times. So, not that it's an excuse, because I definitely, am learning and have learned since then that it's always important to speak our truth. Always, 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 no matter what the fear is, truth above all. So, anyways, after we ended up having our daughter, and living in a whole new different state, I started noticing different behaviors from this person. Like they would lie a lot about like stupid little things that just didn't like things you normally wouldn't have to lie about in a relationship. They would, always be needing, to be high. Okay. They, just became very distant and closed off. They were not supportive with like what I wanted to do. And they still didn't want to let go of the relationship either though. So they became very insecure because whenever you're feeling a certain type of way in a relationship, if you're trying to like stay in the relationship, say you're unhappy and you're staying in the relationship just because you hope that it will change, but that nobody's actually really making a change, then what happens is you might become insecure that the other person feels the same way. And nobody obviously wants to feel like their partner or their loved one doesn't love them like they did in the beginning of the relationship. And so you might become insecure and like act out and like accuse people and stuff like that. And we both definitely had our fair share of this, okay? After being so isolated together, never really having time apart, it just got really, really toxic. And so the reason why this relationship came to a close after give or take a couple of years, this person ended up, becoming very closed off. Like they did not want to hear anything I had to say. Like I tried to ask them, hey, how was your day? They did not want to talk about it. I tried to, have fun and laugh with them and, cuddle them and, show love and affection. And they just did not want it. And so finally I had to, like, after 3 months, like consistent months of saying like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? They finally told me that they didn't want to be with me anymore. And they did not give me an answer why. Like, I still do not know now, like in their head. I don't need to. I feel very, comfortable now where I am about this being over. But at the time, like when we were living together and I found out they didn't want to be with me, that was really, really hard, okay? Because I knew in me that I didn't really want to be with this person either. But because I have a tendency to not want to give up on people. I'm very consistent, and I don't want to give up on relationships usually. This really hurt me. And also the thought of our whole family, this image that we created for like our lives, because it didn't work out that way, I was very frightened about what this meant for me. Okay. I was going to be alone with 3 kids. Financially, I was going to be alone. How was I going to, be able to work and do everything I needed to do? How was I going to make these videos? I was really afraid that basically like I was going to lose myself. Okay. And I think that that's what happens in relationships a lot, is that first of all, in order to have a healthy relationship, we need to have a healthy relationship established with ourselves. That's actually the most important thing that you can do for your partner if you're in a relationship, is to have a relationship with yourself. Okay. So lots of alone time, lots of time, living your passions, doing what you love. Okay. Spending time with your friends, spending time with other people, and getting out of the home energy. Okay. You really want time away from each other as much as possible, so that when you are together, you really cherish it, and you're fully there. Because after a while, if you don't do that and you're just completely like identifying yourself with being in that relationship, you become insecure, you become possessive, you become very sensitive when it comes to like anything that they want to do that doesn't have anything to do with you. All of a sudden it's like they're doing something wrong. And that's really what I had been experiencing with this person. Now, I am not saying that I didn't contribute, to any negativity into that environment, because I absolutely did. Like I said, I was not happy. And so I became insecure in my own ways, and this person was insecure. And so it basically just became, it was no longer a relationship. It was like, who could control who? And it was so unhealthy, and nobody could see it. Like, I can't speak for this person, but I could not see that it was unhealthy. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I didn't want to be there, but I could not see it. I had blinders on that, like, this is not a relationship anymore. We are now in like this toxic, thing. Like, it's no longer a relationship. So I lost my identity, in a lot of ways, because I just kind of gave up on doing what I love besides making, videos. And thank God that I have been doing this. And thank God that I have been, connecting with you guys and other amazing people, because that is really what helped me to be okay with this relationship coming to a close. Now, at first, I cried a lot. I didn't understand. I wanted answers, and I felt like I deserved them. This person did not want to talk to me at all. They didn't even want to tell me why. They just said, I don't know. And I honestly believe that they did not know or have an answer. I think the honest truth was that everything happens for a reason. And a lot of times we feel like, when a relationship comes to an end, that it was like not meant to be. But that is not the truth, okay? It's not the truth at all. We are meant to be with people, in relationships, romantic relationships, especially because they reflect back to us certain things about ourselves that help us grow, help us learn, okay? So a lot of the times we might enter a relationship for, sole, reasons that we, decided before we even came here, to help each other and help ourselves along the way. And when the relationship, kind of just dies and comes to an end, there doesn't always have to be a reason. It doesn't have to be that the person isn't attracted to you. It doesn't have to be that you're not funny enough or fun enough or smart enough or pretty enough. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It could literally just be that it was the end of that soul contract and you are meant to move on and experience better things. Now, I couldn't see that at first. And so for like the first couple of days, I cried and I tried to like beg this person basically to be with me. And looking back on it now, I'm like, whoa, okay? Because you should never really beg someone or chase after someone. If someone tries to leave your life, it's for a reason. They're actually doing you a favor. So if you can learn to see it that way, it will, be much easier for you. Now, I know it's really hard because end of relationships can be really heavy on the heart, okay? Everything you thought you knew about love, about your life, about your plans, it just completely crumbles and you no longer have that, okay? So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but that's why I'm making this video, because I really hope that I can help you guys on your path as well, okay? Because I know there's a lot of people that I see just on social media and in my life that are like, coming at, to an end in their relationships, and they feel like their whole life is falling apart. I know that, I've heard people say that they felt suicidal. All types of emotions are coming out of this. So, really the main message that I want you guys to hear in this video is that, you do not own that person. A lot of the times when we get into a relationship with somebody, like I said, like we become so isolated with them that we kind of lose ourselves, and we start identifying with being that other person. And so when that other person decides to leave, now you feel like they're abandoning you and they're doing something wrong to you, when really they're doing you a huge favor because you have no idea what's around the corner. So, I was very upset, but I ended up deciding, the relationship got violent. Okay. He ended up getting emotionally abusive. He, damaged our house. He, all different types of things, were coming out of, the end of the breakup on his end too. And for me, I was really just more emotional. I was really just upset. I didn't understand. And so basically I decided like I can't live in this house with him, okay? And so I had this calling to just leave, and I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do, but I just put it out in the universe that I wanted to leave, okay? And literally the next day I left, okay? I got in contact with some family members, and they told me, they suggested, to go to a certain place, and I ended up doing that, driving several hours away. And as soon as, like, instantly as I left the state, I felt like this huge thing just was released from me, okay? All of a sudden, I didn't feel so tense and closed in. I felt like I was free. Like, I felt so much more amazing. I felt like myself again, and I felt happy to be alone. I felt like, thank God I'm alone. And so I'm so glad that I did it this way, that I ended up leaving, because if I would have stayed at that house, I would have kept staying in this illusion of like, I need to try to fix this thing. I need to try to fix this relationship. But it really wasn't a relationship at that point. So I'm glad that I left. And so, now to where I am now, like I still haven't been in communication with this person. That was their choice. But I'm so thankful for that, because I've had time to reflect and really figure out, what I want and what I learned from this relationship. And I think, every relationship is a mirror. It's all meant to teach us something and reflect us something to ourselves. So it doesn't necessarily mean that like we are, not good enough or not lovable or anything like that. It absolutely doesn't mean that. Um, Really, there's more to it. It's a lot deeper. So for me, I learned in this relationship, just to be completely honest with you guys, and so that you can connect more, and if you can relate, really understand, I learned that, I don't want a controlling relationship. I don't want a relationship where we just depend on each other, because then you kind of just vamp energy off of each other, and that becomes very unhealthy. I also want someone who is more spiritually evolved, okay? Someone who is on the same path as me, or a similar path, as far as we can meditate together and do yoga together, or we'll both have the same diet, okay? We'll both have the same, basically we'll be aligned with each other in a lot more ways, okay? And we can have fun together, someone who will accept my children, okay? So I've had a lot of time to like really reflect and see. I don't just want to just get in any relationship with just anybody, okay? And that's basically what I had been doing for a long time, because I didn't want to be alone. And I think a lot of us do that. We just jump into relationships with the first person that shows that they like us and that we like them, because we don't want to be alone. And it's not so much about like actually building and establishing this divine, relationship between masculine and feminine. And that's really what it should be. And, for me also as well, I've never been, as far as intimacy goes, I've never been someone who experiences intimacy in the same way that like normal people do, okay? Like I'm not someone who can just sleep with just anybody, okay? Maybe at one point in my life, but definitely not in the last like 3 years. I have not been that way. I've always needed an emotional connection, some type of spiritual connection and understanding. And so in this relationship, what I thought that we had, I thought we had that, it definitely wasn't there, and that's not what it was. And so I ended up, just learning so much more about what I want and putting that in the universe. And, once this happened, instantly the universe sent someone who was going through the same exact situation as me, like almost same exact situation. They have 3 kids. They, have dealt with, physical violence, this person being emotionally abusive. And so, with all of that being said, I really learned that it's not just, about, forcing someone to stay with you or you're going to be alone forever. That's not going to happen. The universe always sends someone. So, as of right now, I have, one of the most amazing friendships that I've ever had in my life because I was able to allow myself to leave this type of toxic situation and to put it behind me and trust that, my life is going to keep moving forward. So if you're in that type of situation, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you just want to leave, then I suggest you do it. And don't worry about money. Don't worry about how it's going to happen, okay? Because those things you're not going to figure out, okay? And in society, we have been taught that we need to schedule and plan everything, okay? We need to have a plan. You do not have control, okay? Just like the same reason why your relationship is coming to a complete end, if you could have controlled that, if somebody would have told you when you were in your honeymoon stage that was going to happen, you would have been like, okay, well, we need to plan how to like not make that happen. But the truth is you can't, okay? Yeah, some relationships, they last forever. There are people who stay together for like 30, 40, 50 years, and that's wonderful. That is beautiful, okay? But so, it's not always the case. It's, like I said, relationships were meant to learn from each other, and sometimes it's to bring you to your next relationship. So, if you're in the situation where you feel you need to leave, just put it out in the universe that yes, you're going to leave. Go to sleep. Stop thinking about it. Wake up the next day and, go about your day, do what you need to do, and keep it in your mind. Like you're going to keep your mind open to receive any opportunity that you get to do what your heart desires, which is if you want to leave, okay? Now, if you don't want to leave and the other person wants to leave, it's still very important that you let that person go because we have free will here and nobody belongs to us, okay? So if they want to leave, it's kind of like that saying, if you love them, let them go. Like if you truly love that person, you'll let them go. Because if you really do love them and you do want a relationship with them and they're not happy with you, maybe they need space and they need to get away. And then maybe, who knows? So anything could happen. They could come back with a new refreshed memory or mind, excuse me. And you just never know. So we need to really let go of trying to control everything. Now the other thing is do not suppress your emotions. If you're angry, if you're sad, if you're happy, okay, that happens. Sometimes people go through a breakup and all of a sudden they feel really happy and then they feel like they can't express that because they're scared of what the other person will think or whatever. And I'm not saying go and laugh in the person's face. That's absolutely, hurtful probably for anybody. But if you're happy, be happy and don't try to just, make yourself sad because the other person's upset. It's really more destructive to hold your emotions in than it is to show them. Okay? Whatever result can come from you showing your emotion is going to be way better than you holding it in, holding it in, holding it in because eventually those need to come out. And you're not going to have any more space to hold anything else. And so it's going to be like a soda that you shake up and when you open the cap, it's just going to go, okay? So you're going to blow up. And I've experienced this on my journey. So I really hope that this video helped you guys. I know that this is like my second video today and it's kind of long. But, for those of you who watch my videos and really can relate, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate you guys more than I can ever really truly express. Um, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to connect with like-minded people and to know that, I'm at service to you guys. So if there's anything more though that you want me to talk about as far as relationship goes, or if there's anything that I missed, I mean, relationships are very complicated. So there's just so much to cover. And so I probably missed some things. But if there's, anything you want to know or even other topics, feel free to comment below. Check me out on Twitter. Check out my website. If you would like to do a consultation with me or a session, reach out to me, because really any way that I can connect to you guys is great. Okay. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.